Alright, hello, my name is Dr. Shalom and this is Gila, and we will be handling character and integrity in leadership today. But I'm certain we might have another tutor or facilitator for this topic, but this is just one that you can run with in the meantime. Okay, so character and integrity in leadership, and these are words. Character and integrity, these are words that you must be familiar with at this time of your life. You must have heard people say this person doesn't have character, or this is a person of integrity, and these two words are really very similar, but they are very, very important in leadership. So I have a few definitions of character listed out here. The first one is character is a distinguishing feature, characteristic, trait, nature, or theme. So it basically is a feature that distinguishes you, a characteristic or a trait that makes you stand out, basically. Character is the mental and moral qualities distinctive to an individual. So this thing defines you. This thing qualifies. This is who you are. So it is distinctive to an individual. Character means fixed, predictable, and it's a special word, statue. This last definition is very, very vital for this topic. So when we talk about character, is very similar to the word integrity as well. So character means fixed, it means predictable, it means statue. As we go on, you certainly understand, what I mean by fixed and what I mean by predictable and statue. When the word statue here is something that you must have seen a statue, something that's molded, and set in a certain way. The position that is put in is the same position morning, afternoon, night, day after day, week after week, year after year, decade after decade. And that means that if I see this statue today, I come tomorrow, I'm certain it's going to be in the exact same place. I come next year, I'm certain it's going to be in the exact same place. I mean, there are certain statues you've seen like that, except it is moved by an external force. But this statue is molded in such a way that it is the same. If I see it today and I see it next year, there are no changes. It is exactly the same. The same posture, the same position, the same structures, the same features. If it's a smiling statue, it's going to keep smiling year after year after year. And that defines character. And as we go on, you'd understand that. So I'd like to let you know or let you in on the relationship between attitude and character. So there are three important words I want you to note in this class. One is character, the other is attitude, and the other one is integrity. These three words are very important words for this topic. So just keep them noted, and once you get the meaning of one, write it down so you can also know the differences and their similarities as well. All right, so the relationship between attitude and character. Now, some people may use attitude and character interchangeably, but they're actually different, and they have a relationship. So, attitude is the disposition to act in ways determined by the mental processes of our feelings, emotions, belief, or reasoning. So attitude is basically a disposition, your disposition, the way you would react to something, the way you would respond to something, the way you have been, will I say programmed, or the way you have trained yourself to respond to things. All right, the way you react, okay? Your disposition to act in a certain way, and this is determined by your mental processes, how you process emotions, how you process feelings, is based on your belief system, based on how you reason. So your attitude is the way you are disposed to acting or responding in a certain way that is determined by how you reason, by your belief system, and by how you process thoughts and emotions and feelings. So that attitude is a disposition to act in a certain way based on how you feel, how you process your emotions, how you reason, based on your belief system. Now, attitude basically is how you react. But then character is quite different. Character is the manifestation of self-integrity. Now you can see the word integrity coming into play now. Character is a manifestation of self-integrity based on a self-disciplined life, regulated by a set of moral values and principles. Character is the manifestation of self-integrity. So I'll tell you what integrity is very shortly. But then this is the manifestation of an integrity that's built based on a self-disciplined life, regulated by a set of moral values and principles. And that means that a person of character is someone who has disciplined himself or herself by a set of moral values and principles. That means a person of character is someone who has a life that is guided by principles, guided by moral values. And this means if you do not have principles that you live by, you do not have character. If you do not have moral values that you live by, you do not have character. And this takes us back to the meaning of character as stated here. The first one, which is fixed and predictable statue. So when you are a person of principles, principles are laws. Principles are laws that guide your actions. These are they are belief systems, laws that have been tested and tried, as it were, and it can only produce a certain result, a certain outcome. So if you are not guided by principles, that means you can act anyhow. I'm going to be expecting different kinds of results, different kinds of outcomes, different kinds of attitudes, different kinds of responses from you, because I'm not certain of the principle that's guiding you, if there is any. So if you're not guided by principles, that means you do not have character. You're not fixed, you're not predictable. A person of character is predictable. A person of character is fixed. That means in any situation, I can tell this is how you respond. I can tell this is how you will act. I can tell this will be your response. Why? Because I know the principles that guide you. If you're a person of truth, if you are guided by the principles of truth, you have a character that you're honest, you do not lie, then that means I can tell anywhere you are, in any situation that you are in, I can determine the outcome. I can predict the outcome. I can predict that you're certainly going to tell the truth, irrespective of what is in front of you, irrespective of the threats, irrespective of what someone else has said. I can tell based upon the principles of truth that guide you. You're guided and ruled by moral values that are based on truth. You do not lie. This is your character. You have an honest character. Your character is honesty. You are defined by honesty. So when I see you, I see honesty. And this has played out over time in my dealings with you and in my and in the dealings of other people with you. So it is not something that just comes up. It's something you have proved over a period of time. And that's why we can say it is fixed, it is predictable. So I test it today, I see you tell the truth. Next year, the same thing. Next 5 years, the same thing. So over time, I've seen that you're predictable. And that's exactly what the statue is. So if you do not have principles, then you don't have character. If you're not fixed, if you're not predictable, if I can't determine the outcome or the result of your attitude or the result of your response in a certain situation, if I can't determine that result, then that means you don't have character, because you're not predictable. So character is a manifestation of self-integrity based on a self-disciplined life. So this is something that you've built up over a period of time. You have disciplined yourself to be subject to these principles. You've disciplined yourself to be subject to these moral values. So irrespective of how you feel or what threat comes your way or what, sometimes people are influenced to compromise. Irrespective of that influence, you still stand your ground. Then we can say this person is a person of character. Character is who you are. Is a manifestation of yourself, is who you are. Character influences attitude. Now we said attitude is your disposition to act in a certain way, but then we are saying character influences attitude. So if you have built yourself into a person of truth, that means you don't lie, and that means that your disposition to every situation will be one of truth, one of honesty. So character has influenced your attitude. Right? So your core values and integrity provide the foundation that shapes your emotional and behavioral responses. Your core values and integrity provide the foundation that shapes your emotional and behavioral responses. When we talk about responses, we're talking about attitude. But what determines that attitude? What defines that attitude is your character, because character is who you are. Character is on the inside, is who you are. And so once it's manifested, once it shows forth, once you display it, we can see it's displayed in your attitude. All right, so that's basically what that's the relationship between character and attitude. Attitude reveals character. So while character determines attitude, attitude also reveals character. So since attitude is something we see on the outside, your disposition, your response, your reaction, it tells us what happens, it tells us what's hidden on the inside. If you're a person of patience, it is only expected that your attitude will be attitudes of patience. So when situations when you are in a certain situation, your response will be one of patience. It will be a patient response. You won't take rash decisions. We can tell patience. In your dealings, in your reactions, in your responses. Why? Because what's on the inside, the person on the inside is a person of patience. This person has raised himself and disciplined himself to patience, and disciplined himself, with principles that have shaped him into a patient person. That's what it means. Okay, so a person's consistent display of certain attitudes can offer insight into their character. So we can tell who you are by how you respond over time. The way you choose to read reveals your underlying intent and values. Now, character is the core of your identity. And this is why it's so important in leadership, because remember we said leadership is self-discovery. You are discovering who you are. And now we are saying that character is the core of your identity. It encompasses your moral and ethical qualities, integrity, and values. Attitude is your overall mental outlook towards people, towards situations and ideas, which is influenced by your beliefs and experiences. So this is it. You can say character is on the inside, and attitude is a display of what is on the inside. So attitude is your overall mental outlook, how you see things, how you view things, how you respond to them, how you understand them, how you perceive them. Okay, and it's determined by your belief system. It is determined by what is happening on the inside. And we have said that character is the core of your identity. Character is typically who you are. Okay, so when we say this person is a person of character, it means this person has built himself into something that is fixed, something that is predictable. Now, integrity is a very similar word to character. Integrity is from the Latin word integer. Now, it means wholeness, complete. Your actions align with your core beliefs and values. There are certain people who say something and do something differently. Those people don't have integrity. They are not people of character. A person of character says what he means and means what he says. A person of character, a person of integrity says what he does and does what he says. What you say, who you are, and your actions are one, and that's integrity. It means intact. You are intact. You are whole. You are complete. We can't differentiate you from your words. We can't differentiate your actions from your words. What you say, your actions back back up your words. So what you say is who you are. What you say is what you do. So we can't differentiate you from your actions. We can't differentiate you from your words. You are what you say. You are who you are. You are what you act. And that's integrity. It means oneness with your words and your actions. Oneness with your words, your beliefs, and your actions. Oneness with your thoughts, your words, and your actions. That's integrity. So your thoughts, your words, and your actions are the same. They are one. A person of integrity is a person of character. And that's how come we can say this person is predictable. This person is fixed. So no matter what happens, I know once he has said it, that's exactly what he's going to do. And once I hear what he said, then I can tell what he's thinking. So his words, his thoughts, his words, and his actions are one. This is a person of integrity. He does not waver in his commitment. He is on he doesn't waver. He doesn't change, his talk. Once he says something, he's going to do it. And we have several people who, have promised and not kept. And certain times in our lives, we have said something and we've not done that. That was not a display of integrity. A person of integrity does what he says and says what he does. And then we said a person of integrity is a person of character. And that means if you're not a person of integrity, you're not a person of character. Now, what are the core components of integrity? This first, honesty and truthfulness. So if you're a person of integrity, you've got to be honest. That means you say the truth. You say it as it is. If you're a person of integrity, you've got to be accountable and responsible. All right, so like I said, a person of integrity is consistent. So there's consistency. So these are the components, these are the characteristics you see in a person of integrity and even a person of character, because a person of character is a person of integrity. Respectfulness, faithfulness, loyalty. We talked about this in the, I think when we talked about management through leadership. We talked about faithfulness. We said these are the characteristics of good management, right? Very, very similar. And that tells you the role of integrity and character in both leadership and management. And then another component is courage. You're going to have to be able to stand your ground irrespective of the fears and oppositions that come your way. You've got to be very courageous, because the world will try to make you compromise, will try to test you and make you compromise, make you bend, but you've got to stand courageous. And that's one of the very core components of a person of integrity. Courage is really important. And then fairness and justice. A person of integrity is fair and just. So you're not necessarily taking sides, but what you're doing is you're seeking out you're ensuring there is fairness and there is justice. You're ensuring fairness and justice. And to be able to do that, you have to be honest, you have to be faithful, you have to be courageous, very courageous. Very courageous. It's only a courageous person that is fair and just, because the world is really opposite. Right, so I'd like you to note these few things. The fundamental distinction between a leader and a follower is attitude. And if you remember in our classes on leadership, we talked about this. We said the difference between a leader and a follower is simply attitude. Their attitude. And now the absolute foundation of effective and efficient leadership is character. So if you're going to have a strong, if your leadership is going to be effective, then you have to have foundation. You have to have character as your foundation, because remember we said character is who you are. It is the core identity of your personality. So that tells us who you are, and based upon who you are, you lead, because leadership is you putting yourself out there. So when you put yourself out there, what do people see? Do they see a person of principles and moral values, or do they see somebody who does not have principles. If you don't have principles, like I said, you don't have character, you're not predictable, you're not fixed. And so we can't trust you. We can't trust you. I'll come to trust and the importance of trust when it has to do with leadership, because trust is a currency in the economy of leadership. You cannot lead without trust. So if you're not predictable, if we can't tell your response, if we can't tell your reaction, if we can't tell your feedback at any given time, then we can't trust you. We can't trust you. Leadership is not led for people who can act anyhow. You are getting there. So the primacy of character, the importance of character. Character is the non-negotiable foundation of leadership. Take note of the word foundation. And even the scriptures tell us that if the foundation of the righteous be faulty, if the foundation is faulty, what can the righteous do? Foundation is important because it's upon the foundation you build every other thing. So if your character is questionable, then your leadership is questionable. It can't last. It can't stand the test of time. Your leadership is faulty if your character, which is the foundation of your leadership, is questioned. It is a non-negotiable foundation of leadership. So what is your character like? Who are you? Who are you? And it's something that you intentionally build. You may not have been born in a certain way, but if this certain way is necessary for leadership, you've got to imbibe it. You've got to subject yourself to that discipline in order to become the person, that is the person that can handle that role, that can handle that leadership, that can handle that position. So these are important things that you need to look at. Now, character is the moral force that gives weight to a leader's words. Character is more important than your words. Beyond what you say, who are you? So it is a moral force that gives weight to your words. So if you're a person of character, your words will certainly have weight. That means we can bank on your words. We can take your words and run with it. But if you're not a person of character, your words have no value. Your words have no value. You can speak and everyone will just hiss and go away because your words don't mean anything. They don't have weight. They don't carry water. Your character protects your leadership and vision. It is character that protects your leadership and vision. So if your leadership is going to stand the test of time, it all is all determined by your character. Same thing with your vision. Now your character enables you leave a legacy for posterity. I like to give the statue analogy. I gave example. I gave it an example earlier. Of this figure. Let's say, for example, the Statue of Liberty. That anyone can browse and see. I browsed about it last 10 years. It is the exact same thing. Browse about it right now. It is the exact same thing. It is the Statue of Liberty. It is a statue. So if you see it today and you come back next 5 years, it is the exact same thing. The same features, the same position, everything is the same. That is character. Irrespective of the weather, irrespective of the time, irrespective of the hurricane, no matter what happens, let the rain fall, let the sun shine, let the breeze beat it, no matter what happens. Somebody can come and mock on it, spit on it, no matter what happens. Let someone come and insult it, no matter what happens, the statue remains the same. That is character. And that's how you should be. You're not tossed to and fro by every wind of doctrine. You're not tossed to and fro by someone else's view and opinion of who you are, because you are you, and your character ought to stand. You're not, when people insult you, you don't just back and respond anyhow. No, the question is, who are you? Do you know who you are? Because when you do, irrespective of what people say, you stand your ground. You stand your ground. That's character. Synonyms of character is holy. And this is a word, holy. People think that holy is it just means, sacred and all. But holy means oneness. It means no ulterior motives. You're one with what you say. What you say is what you do. What you do is what you say. Just like integrity. That's why it's a synonym, of character. Because we said character, integrity, now holiness, that one. There's oneness. You're whole. You're complete. What you say, what you think is what you say. What you say, your thoughts align with your words align with your actions. Your belief system aligns with your words, and which in turn aligns with your actions. You are one with yourself. And that's how God is. He is holy. What he says, what he says is who he is. His words, you know, his words tell us about him. This is who he is. And that's exactly who you are. You are the reflection of you are the manifestation of your words. So if your words are not straightforward, you are not a straightforward person. Certainly, you're not a person of character. So your words can tell us who you are. So if your words are one with your actions, with your belief system, this person is a person of integrity. This person is holy. That means he's whole. He's whole. WHOLE. He's whole. He's one with himself. He's one with his words. He's one with his actions. This person can certainly be trusted. He's a person of character. He's a person of integrity. That's how you ought to make yourself to be. And it's something you subject yourself to. It's a discipline you subject yourself to. Character versus reputation. Reputation is what others think about you. Character is who you are. Character is who you are. Character is who you are. There is no private life for a leader. Some people say, "Oh, this is my private life. Damn, you don't need. Nobody needs to know about my private life. My public life is different from my private life." But that's a big lie. As long as you're a leader, your public life is your private life. Your private life is your public life. Everything you do in private will certainly be made known in public. There is no private life, and that's what we talk about integrity. What you say is what you do. You don't say something outside and you go do something different inside. No, how you live outside is exactly how you are on the inside. So whether we turn on the light or turn off the light, you're exactly the same person, just like the statue. And that's character. Private actions directly impact public trust. Your private life demonstrates your public message. Now, character begets trust, and this is where we come to trust. Character is a source of trust. Trust is a currency in the economy of leadership. So you cannot lead people that don't trust you. And the only way for people to trust you, the only way to develop trust, the only way for people to trust you is to develop character. I can only trust what I can predict. I can trust that statue because I've seen it. 10 years after it's still there. 10 years before it was still there. People have testified the exact same thing. That means I can predict it. I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen it under the rain. I've seen it under the sun. I've seen it. I've seen when the wind is beating it. I've seen people insult it. I've seen people pour spit on it. I've seen people pour paint on it. Did it move? No. It is exact. It is exactly where it was molded to be. Maintaining the exact same facial features. Everything is the same. I can predict that statue. That is character. And because I can predict it, I can trust it. Can we trust that you'll be the exact same person when we send you to another country, when we send you to represent us in a certain place? Can we trust that you will not compromise? That is character. And if we can't trust you, then you're not qualified to lead. Trust is a product of a successful character testing. A successful character testing over a long period of time. So after this character has been tested and proven to be a real character, and then we can say trust has come in. Trust can come in. Now trust is earned, and if it is lost, it's not easily regained. Primacy of character continued. Character is personal, not private. You build your character. It's not something that's general, it's personal. Character and integrity are the protection of your leadership. Leadership without character is power without principles. Power without principles. And so because there is power and there are no principles, we can't trust your next action. You could be cold today and hot tomorrow. You could be good today and suddenly you're bad tomorrow because there are no principles that are guiding your actions. And that's how leadership is without character. So we can't trust the leader who does not have character, because he can do anything, he can be anything, he can assume anything the next day. But if there are principles, laws, and regulations, moral values guiding your actions, we can tell no matter what happens, this person will not turn, this person will not compromise. He is a person of integrity, he's a person of character, and that's where trust can come in. Leadership is leadership without character is like possessing the gifts of the Spirit without the fruit of the Spirit. And guess what the scriptures say? By their fruit you shall know them. You know them by their fruits. So no matter the miracles that you perform, we can tell if you truly belong to God by your fruits. What are the fruits? Love, joy, peace, gentleness, long suffering, kindness, brotherly kindness. These are the fruits of the Spirit. So leadership without character is like, oh, you're manifesting the power without principles, without the fruits which define you. These are the core. This is the core of your personality. Fruit of the Spirit, because you're born with them, they are right inside you. And if you don't develop them, they'll just be there dormant. You've got to develop it, practice it, and let it come under testing over a period of time, and you come out still the same. Then you're a person of character. Leadership without character is abuse of trust. A leader's gift is only as safe as the character that contains it. Violation of character forfeits the privilege to lead. All these, once you violate character, you have lost the trust, and then you are disqualified from leadership. The credibility of a leader is character. How do we know you're true? How can we believe your leadership? How can we believe what you're saying? It's when we look at your character. It doesn't matter what you say. People only hear you through your character. The force of leadership is character. The trust of leadership is character. The legitimacy of leadership is character. The integrity of leadership is character. The only way we can know your leadership is true, your leadership is real, your leadership will stand a test of time, is if you're a person of character. All right. A person of character doesn't need to be loved, but they are always respected. Well, I may not love you, but as long as I know you're a person of character, I will always respect you. Of course, you're supposed to love everybody. All right. Leadership is a combination of strategy and character. And if you must be without one, be without strategy, because character is a foundation of leadership. Talent is your inherent or acquired ability, but character is your personal submission to discipline, principles, laws to protect those talents. Now, like I said, you may not have been born with these character traits. Honesty, integrity, faithfulness, loyalty, courage, but you subject yourself to discipline and principles. You subject yourself to the laws that help you build these things. And then you become this person of character. And then your character can protect your leadership, protect your vision, protect your gifts, protect your talents. Right? Now, how do you develop character? Character is developed, it begins with your belief system. And that's why we started with building beliefs. Because character, which is the foundation of leadership, begins with your belief system. What you allow in, what you let in, what you listen to, the information you let, inundate your mind, the information you let control you. So character begins with your belief system. What do you believe? And your belief system, remember, produces your values and moral convictions. The reason I know what I value is based on what I believe in. And it's evident in what I do, it's evident in what I say, it's evident in Gila. How do you know the value of Gila facilitators, especially the core facilitators? Is when you look at the scheme of work, when you look at the content of their delivery, you realize these people are particular about truth, they are particular about real and right education. That means they value the right education, they value truth. All right, so you can see the reflection in the content of our delivery. This is a product of our belief system. It's a product of what we have believed in over a period of time. So the development of character, first is knowledge in schematics, first is knowledge, second is meditation, and third is practice. Knowledge, you've got to give time to getting the right information. Getting knowledge. Knowledge is right. If it is not right, then it's not knowledge. Knowledge is right. I think I've said that before. The difference between knowledge and information. Information can be right or wrong, but knowledge, once it is knowledge, it is got to be right. If it is not right, then it's not knowledge. So give yourself to the right information. Give yourself to knowledge. How do you get knowledge? It's from truth. The only way, the only place we can get truth is from the scriptures. You cannot get truth about life, truth about people, truth about situations. How do you know how to react to situations? How do you know how to react to problems? How do you know how to handle issues? There's some people that see problems as problems. Others see problems as opportunities. Opportunity to be joyful, to be excited. Why? Because every problem comes with a solution. For the fact that the problem gravitates to you is because you have the solution. Most people don't know that truth. That is a truth that's revealed to us in the Bible. It's a truth. You see, so once you know that truth, when problems come, you're excited because I have the solution. I just need to dig deep and bring it out. And there, you've solved the problem. You've expressed leadership. That's what leadership is, solving problems. And that's knowledge, because that's the right information. But, some people are exposed to the wrong information where they get to run away from problems. You cower away from issues. But when problems come to you, you ought to know that you have the solution. So it's not time to cry. It's not time to complain. It's time to be excited. And that's why God tells us how to respond to trials and temptations. He says, count it all joy. He tells us how to respond to challenges, not to cry. He says, be excited. Count it all joy. When you face diverse trials, diverse temptations, diverse issues, it says count it all joy. Those things come to strengthen your character. They come to refine you. Every time you have a testimony, you've got to go through the fire. Testimonies don't just come like that. Testimonies come as a result of your victory. So if you're not going to have a battle, then there's no victory. How do we know there's a victory? When you fought. So every opportunity to fight, every opportunity to be tested is an opportunity to be joyful. So if you don't know this truth, your disposition to circumstances, to challenges will be wrong. So you have the wrong attitude. And once you have the wrong attitude, you've not expressed leadership. You see, so you've got to subject yourself to the right knowledge. That means you have to be exposed to truth. And in Jila, we teach you truth. And we refer you to the scriptures, the Bible, because God is truth. The only person who knows the truth about everything in life is God. And He has revealed it to us in the scriptures. He tells you how to respond, for example, to circumstances. He tells you how to deal with people. He tells you how to deal with different kinds of people, foolish people, wise people. He tells you what to do. Maybe you're not so wise. He tells you go to the wise and relate to the wise, because you are just like your friends. If you're wise, if your friends are wise, you're certainly going to be wise. They'll rub off on you. But if your friends are foolish, they'll rub off on you. It tells you how to relate. So you go for knowledge, and knowledge is truth. And then when you get truth, you meditate on it. Let it sink in. Let it go in. Not just head knowledge. Let your mind be inundated with that truth. You meditate on it, and then you start practicing it. Oh, now you've seen. God tells you how to respond. Truth tells you how to respond to challenges. So when challenges come, instead of crying, before you'd have cried, but now you've gotten knowledge, you say, I'm not going to cry. That means this problem came because I have the solution. I just need to study. I need to calm down. I need to re-strategize. I need to search. I need to ask questions. I need to find out what the solution is and solve the problem. And so what I need to do, first of all, I'm joyful. I'm excited. Oh, thank God. Thank God, thank God, thank God. When inflation comes, some people are excited, some people are sad. People who are excited are the ones who know what to do with inflation. So the same thing. When problem comes, if you know what to do with the problem, you'll be excited. So your first response matters. Be joyful. So once the joy has come, it's okay. It's time for me to practice what I've gotten, the knowledge I've gotten. I'm going to practice it. And you come back with the results, the right results. And you see, character is built. You do it the first time. You do it the second time. You do the third time. So every time, maybe I meet you 5 years after you have practiced, I meet you and challenges come and I see you're joyful. It is a response. You don't have to think about it. It is a subconscious response. You're joyful in the midst of problems. And I'm wondering, why is she joyful? Remember, it's character that has been built over time. Knowledge first. You allow this knowledge to saturate your mind and you intentionally practiced it. While others were crying in the face of problem, you were rejoicing because you knew better. And in the midst of rejoicing, you were searching for solution. You were digging deep. You were searching your spirit, searching your mind, and you brought out the solution and solved that problem. And you did it again, and you did it again and again and again and again. This has built your character. And so in the face of challenges, you're courageous. In the face of problems, you are not bewildered in any way. You are joyful. You are excited. So whether problems or no problems, you're constantly joyful. That's character. So I can tell this person is always happy. When challenges come, you're even happier. When there are no challenges, you're happy. I can tell. If I meet you 5 years after, I'm going to see you smiling. If I meet you 10 years after, I'm going to see you happy. You're not going to be the one complaining. Why? Because over time, you've built character. That's how to build character. You develop character by intentionality. First, knowledge. Second, meditation. Third, practice. The power of truth. As you stay on your truth, it forges you. As you stay on the truth, I like to use the truth, it forges you and births in you the demeanor of greatness. This is where greatness is birthed. You've got to give time to meditation. You've got to give time to meditation. Allow the knowledge of truth gain mastery over your mind so that it becomes your thinking, your subconscious thoughts. It becomes something that guides you, the principle that leads you in life. I'd like to close with the scripture, Hebrews 5 verse 14. Let me quickly get there. Hebrews 5:14, it says, "But strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age, even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil." Exercise, that's the word. With practice, through challenges, tests, trials, or habits, your character is refined, established, and trusted. The importance of character and integrity in leadership. Through practice. With practice, through challenges. Challenges have got to be there. You've got to make up your mind to see challenge as opportunities every time. When challenge comes, say, thank God for another opportunity. Opportunity to grow, to learn, to be better, to solve a problem. And that's who a leader is. And so a person of integrity is a person of character. A person of character is a person of integrity. And remember the core components of integrity. Courage, one of them is courage. You don't run away from challenges. You stay and you fight. You stay and you solve the problem. That's a person of integrity. That's a person of character. And so because you can stay all the time and fight, we can trust that someday you can be a champion. You can be our champion. And that's who a leader is. A leader doesn't fight for himself. A leader fights for others. And that's who a champion is. Make up your mind to be a person of character. Make up your mind to be a person of integrity. God bless you.